I'm Michael Amar. You've just seen a sample of the reactions you'll receive as you perform the magic I'm about to share with you now. For every effect which qualified for inclusion on this series, hundreds of effects were read, performed, and then cast aside in an attempt to give you the finest collection of easy-to-master card magic ever assembled on video. Our objectives were to select simple yet powerful effects, material that beginning-level magicians could attain, yet strong enough to be included in any professional repertoire. Because our criteria for selection was so carefully constructed, all you'll need is a small handful of the effects from this series, and you'll be able to astonish people. Each learning segment will begin with a performance set that combines 2 or 3 effects that work together well. Following the performance segments, you'll learn exactly how to perform the effect just as you've seen it, along with the insights beyond the techniques that make these effects classics. Perhaps you, like many others, will consider these to be the real secrets to achieving the desired effect. You know, magicians are trained to look at things in an unobvious way. Now, for example, let's take the 4 aces here. Now, a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of ways to turn a card over. See, that's something most people don't think much about. You didn't think much about that, did you? See, you could turn a card over sideways, like a book. Another way to turn a card over is in for in, just like this. Only a magician can actually turn a card over inside the spaces between the cards. Now, that sounds like an interesting thing to think about, doesn't it? Right. It keeps me up at night. Now, here's how we do it. We take the cards just like this, and all we do is twist. And just in twisting the cards just like that, one card turns itself over. Okay? Now, you probably didn't know what to look for, but now you do, and I'll do it again. All we have to do, square the cards up, give them a little twist just like this. The ace of hearts had turned over before, the ace of hearts turns over, and now the ace of clubs turns back over. Oh, yeah, now. now you know what to look for. There goes the ace of clubs. I'll try it now for the ace of diamonds. All I have to do is twist the cards just like this, and the ace of diamonds turns itself over. Okay? Now, that's 3 aces. The only one that hasn't turned itself over is the ace of spades, and the ace of spades is a little more tough. See, the ace of spades doesn't work automatic. You can't just cause the ace of spades to turn over just by twisting. See, that doesn't do anything. The ace of spades, you actually have to command to twist over. And all you have to do is get it to snap to attention, and just like this, the ace of spades turns over. Okay. But now let's try something a little bit different here as far as the aces are concerned. You had to follow the clubs, hearts, spades, and diamonds. That was kind of a warm-up for what's going to happen now. May I ask a favor of you? Hold out your right hand flat, kind of table like there, and I'm going to take the first ace, the ace of spades, and I'll place it onto your hand just like this. Now the next ace, the ace of clubs. I'm going to try and confuse you a little bit, but don't let me move too quick. Watch everything that I do. I'll take the ace of clubs, and I'll place it not here, but here. Okay, now which ace is on top? Yeah, is the ace of clubs on the top or on the bottom? On the bottom? No, it's the ace of, no, the ace of spades is on the bottom. The ace of clubs is on top. He's got the hearts and diamonds. Show him. So don't tell him how that was done. You know, this is one of those things that can actually be taken to an extreme. The idea of things turning over inside of a small space. Let's take some random cards here. Let's see. Well, we might as well take the 2 nines here. Okay. Let's take the 2 black nines. Maybe you can do me a favor here. Now, there's 2 different ways to fold a card in half. I could fold a card in half along its length, like this, or you can fold a card in half along its width, this way. Do me a favor, fold this in half along its width and crease it. And I'll fold this one along its length, and I'll crease it here. Okay? 2 different ways to do one thing. Now there's two different ways to actually put a card inside of a card. I could put a card inside like this, or I can put a card inside like this. I could turn cards inside out this way, or I could do it by magic. I think I'll try this one by magic. Watch the 9 of spades. Okay, watch the 9 of spades. All I have to do is push. And the 9 of spades will turn itself over while it's trapped inside of the 9 of clubs for its entire length. Now I'll do it again. All you have to do is push. And it turns itself back over for its entire length while it's still inside of the 9 of clubs. The interesting thing is I can actually isolate the very point of inversion right there. You see the card halfway inside out, just like this. The amazing thing is I could actually trap the process right there in the center by tearing the cards in half. There'll be no question as you set it down, and you'll see half the cards in and half the cards out. And I can't even figure that out myself.
That was excellent.
This is the explanation for Di Vernon's twisting the aces. This was the first routine that Di Vernon ever developed which made use of the Elmsley count, which was originally known as counting 4 as 4. This is such an important move that we're going to spend a little bit of time on it now. You need 4 cards, of course. In the Elmsley count, it's the third card from the top which is invisible during the process of the count. Elmsley originally did the count at the fingertips this way. What would take place is you pull the top card off. It's the pad of the right thumb pushes the top 2 cards over as one. Fairly easy thing to do, as the pads of the right fingers just hold the bottom card and the thumb pushes over. As you come back, the left hand will leave its card underneath the pack as it takes these 2 cards, of course concealing that third card, counting 2 and 3 and then 4. That moves the card that's hidden from the 3rd position to the 4th position. I'll do that for you again. What takes place at the tips of the fingers, the left hand pulls off the top card, the pad of the right thumb pushes over the 2 cards together. As the left hand comes back, it leaves 1 card, taking 2, then coming back for 3, and then 4. The count has been modified currently to be done from more of a dealer's grip position than what may seem to be an odd grip here. But in a minute, you'll see how cleverly routined the Vernon routine is to put you into that position automatically. But let me spend just a moment on the dealer's grip Elmsley count. Holding the cards in the left hand, the left thumb moves 1 card up, leaving the block of 3 here as it continues counting 1. Then the left thumb pushes its block of 2. The left hand comes back, takes the 2 cards together, saying 2, having left that bottom card there, 3, and then 4. Once you learn the Elmsley count, there's many routines that you can do with it, but probably the most famous is this one right here. You set the cards up in what is called the chased order from the top down, which is clubs, hearts, spades, and diamonds, C-H-S-D. You turn the packet down and you show the 4 cards. You're going to do a triple lift to show the ace of spades. So you do a triple lift, saying that's one way to turn a card over is side to side. Now you're going to tilt your hand just slightly back, killing the face of this card. As you say, another way to do it is end to end. As you do this, you turn the ace of spades face down. In essence, what you've done is secretly reverse the ace of clubs and the ace of hearts. From this point, you do the twisting movement developed by Vernon, which, as you'll notice, puts the cards immediately into Elmsley grip for counting 1. Now you'll do the Elmsley count to show the first ace, 3 and 4. Now that puts the first ace shown into the position to be concealed as you then reveal the ace of clubs on the next count. So you do the twisting movement again, Do the Elmsley count again. 1, 2, 3. Now on the fourth count, you take the top card and put it onto the bottom. At this point, you're going to do a triple lift, apparently turning the ace of clubs down, but actually turning down the ace of hearts, and at this point, setting up the ace of diamonds to appear face up. So you do a triple lift, turn the ace down, twist again, putting yourself back into Elmsley count position, and you count again. Now this time you're going to simulate an Elmsley count while actually doing a legitimate count, sort of a fake Elmsley. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4. Now as you take the ace of diamonds out, you're going to get a break underneath this top card, which is the ace of spades. So you take the ace of diamonds out, bring it to the top. Now you're going to hold those two cards as the left hand turns over the other two cards. This secretly reverses the ace of spades. Turn the packet down, and at this point, you do the twist, and you can do the Elmsley count to show nothing's happened. 3, 4. Now, if you put this card back on top, the ace of spades will be on the bottom. If you put it onto the bottom, you can repeat that Elmsley count maneuver to show that still nothing happens. 3, 4. Vernon would then place the fourth card onto the bottom, snap the cards, and then dramatically spread the cards to show that the fourth ace has reversed itself right in the middle of the pack. That's the explanation for Di Vernon's classic Twisting the Aces. To continue on, we did Dr. Daly's, the last trick of Dr. Daly. To do the last trick of Dr. Daly, what you're going to need to do is make sure that the colors are alternated, red, black, red, black. Turn the cards down. You're going to do a double lift, okay, from the top of the deck to show a black card, okay, double lift, so that when you place this into someone's hand, you're actually placing a red ace into their hand. Now you're going to do a double lift from the bottom to show the other black ace. Okay, but because it's a double lift, of course, you'll be placing a red card into their hand. Ask them the question, is it on top or is it on the bottom? Then ultimately show that you've got the black aces and they've got the red aces. It's a perfect finish following up Di Vernon's Twisting the Aces. This is the explanation for Roy Walton's card warp. And asking Roy Walton for permission to include this on this series, he asked us to be sure to mention his inspiration for card warp as being Jeff Busby's Into the Fourth Dimension. When we performed this, we pre-tore one of the cards and put it into the deck. The card that we pre-tore was the 9 of spades. It's torn halfway to the center of the card, and it's placed halfway into the deck so that you come to the first 9 first. Up jog the 9 of clubs. When you come to the 9 of spades and up jog it, the 9 of clubs conceals the tear in the card, and you take the 2 cards out. As you ask the spectator to fold 1 card in half, you're cleanly showing both sides of the cards, and the right thumb just conceals the pre-torn card. The spectator will fold their card in half along its width. You fold your card in half along its length and crease both cards. Now, as you place the 2 cards together, what you're going to do is allow this card to go down in between here so that when you open this card up, in essence, you're taking this card this way under cover of the top card being reversed, which sets up the entire effect. Okay, as you can see, now you've got the situation that allows the card to reverse itself as it passes through the other card. You show the card all around, push it back through it, reverses itself again. You can go all the way up to about that mid-range, push it back through. At this point, you can take it up to the corner. I hold it right at this edge, and I bring the cards right to there so that they seem to get a very clear picture of the card reversing itself right in the center. Then to conclude, all you have to do is center the inside card, tear the card in half like this, and that cleans up your setup so that you can set the card down and you've got a perfect reversal. And you've destroyed the evidence. Now, that was explanation for Roy Walton's card warp. Twisting the aces, the beauty of Vernon's handling lies in the economy of motion and in the uniformity of action. The effect is marvelous in spite of its simplicity, primarily because of the tremendous thought that went into the management of every movement. That's why we tried to stay so close to the original handling developed by the professor. So while I always encourage people to put their own personality into the presentations that they'll ultimately use, it's also wise to learn the exact handling of such classics as this and perform it that way until you feel you understand why it works the way it does. Then, from that position of experience, you'll be better able to make alterations more to your own character. With card warp, aside from the topological nature of the method used to create the effect, you are particularly far ahead of the audience by tearing the card in advance and concealing it amongst the others in the deck. The nature of this advanced preparation is such that the most astute audiences will find it almost impossible to reconstruct to the actual method used. In our next performance set, we're going straight to the heart of the most commercial topic possible when it comes to playing cards: gambling. You know, when you play cards long enough, eventually somebody's going to ask you, hey, what do you know about gambling? Gambling is probably the most interesting topic when it comes to cards. Most people are interested in that sort of thing. And if I give them enough time, they'll ask me, hey, can you teach me how to cheat at cards? Now, I'm just saving you the trouble of asking. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'll go ahead and show you how that sort of thing would work. I'll take out the 4 aces, and I'll show you exactly how a gambler would stack the deck right in the middle of the game. And the stack that we'll use is what we call the overhand shuffle, just like that. Now, typically, you would only stack 3 cards. But if you wanted a 4th one, I'll show you exactly how that would work as well. Now, it's a formula. Let's say there was 5 of us playing in the game. You take 2 times the number of players plus 1, and you run those off. That's 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and you throw those on top. Now, that's pretty easy, isn't it? 1 less than the number of players, that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the number of players, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 1, and then the number of players again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, that's all pretty simple. At that point, you have your friend cut the cards at just the right spot, and you're ready to go. I'll deal a 5-hand game of poker. And as you can see, that puts the aces right in my hand. But, you know, that's only part of the game. Getting the aces in your hand is only half of the goal. The main thing that you want to do is make sure that these guys, in this case, really getting just random cards, you want to make sure that these guys are enthusiastic enough about the game to be willing to put money into the game. So you've got to give these guys a good hand. So here's how that would happen. I'm going to put the aces down into the center of the deck, just like this. And I'll show you how to do the game in such a way that you get more money in the pot. That's the key. First, you want to start around with the all-around square-up move, and you deal yourself 5 hands, just like this. And we're going to see if we can get these guys to empty their wallets into the game, okay? So let's see. This guy, well, that guy's getting ready for a flush. He'll probably stay in the game. Let's see, this guy. Hey, this is what they call a safety raiser. That's like gambling. It's a safety raiser. You know, you give somebody 2 pairs, and they're bound to raise. Okay, putting more money into the pot. Hey, 4 twos. You know this guy's going to stay. You know this guy's going to put all his money into the game. And a pair of jacks. Now, that's not great, but he'll stay. Yeah. He'll stay, and he'll play, and, well, that's not a good start, but, well, this is draw poker. Draw poker, right? You get to, now, if we were playing draw poker here, and let's say this was your hand, and you were going for a flush. Now, you'd probably what? Take 1? Probably take 1 card there, get rid of that one. Hey, good job. Good job. You got a flush in hearts. Now, what would you do there with 2 pair? 2 queens, 2 tens. You'd get rid of that one. Hey, you got it. You got it. Full house. Now, what would you do with this guy? If you were this guy?
Get rid of that 5.
Get rid of that 5? Well, you know, when people only take 1 card, a lot of times the gambler will say, well, they got such a good hand, I better deal them from the bottom. And so that's another thing that you got to look for. But, hey, kind of rounded that thing out, didn't you? 4 of a kind. Well, you got a pair of jacks there. What would you do?
Well, I'll probably get rid of a couple there.
Get rid of these 3? Okay, let's see what you do. If you draw 3, there you go. Hey.
Whoop, there it is.
Hey, check that out. Well, you know he's going to stay
Right.
with a full house there. Well, let's see. I guess I'll take one. I'll take one. You know what's amazing? As lucky as he was, it'd have been better to have thrown in that one jack, because he would have drawn that fourth ace. And when he got that fourth ace, not only would he have won, but he would have kept me from getting my royal flush in the 10, jack, queen, king, ace, of spades. I'd hate to play cards with me. When you play poker, a lot of times like that, you know, it's not just a matter of getting a good hand. There's other things. You have to control your body language. That's a really important thing. Because you can give away what you got in your hand just by the way your face looks. There's been books written on this. It's called, you know, they call it a tell. That's what they say. They say keep a poker face. So, you know, they don't mean don't have a face like a poker. They mean don't express things with your face so that people can tell what you've got. I'll show you how that works, basically. Pull out any card at all and show it around, and I'd like to have you pull out any card at all and show it around. Make sure that everybody knows what the card is. Okay? Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have you... Now, the important thing is to not react in any way when you see your card again. Okay? That's the most important thing. Return your card to the deck there. And I'll give the cards a cut, and let's see, how about put your card in anywhere? Right there. There we go. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you every card in the deck. Let's do it one at a time. I'll do you first. I'm going to riffle the cards just like this. I want you to look at every card in the deck, and I'll just watch your eyes. And the moment your pupils dilate, now be real careful. Try not to do this intentionally, okay? I mean, try to fool me, right? Okay. And I'll tell you the second that you see the card that you select. I'll stop as we go through the deck, and I'll say, oh, that's your card. Now, do me a favor. Watch my eyes. Make sure that I only watch her eyes, and you just watch the cards. I won't do anything but watch her eyes. And when she sees a card that she recognizes, I'll be able to spot it. Is that it? Is that your card? Is that your card? Right from the center of the deck? Now, you're probably thinking, now, wait a second. Now, you know the card's in there somewhere. I'll try the same thing with you. Now, watch what I do. Watch my eyes. You watch my eyes. You watch the deck. Make sure that I'll never look at the cards at all. All I'll do is just riffle the edges, watching for her poker tell, and I'll be able to tell just from the dilation of her eyes. Is that it? Is that your card? Right out of the center of the deck? I don't even have to know what the card is. You can pull it straight out from the center of the deck. So listen, when you play poker, be sure to be careful. You poker face. You watch them in the eyes. That's how you tell. That's how you know. This is the explanation for Di Vernon's poker deal, which was published in the Di Vernon Book of Magic. This poker deal requires a 27-card stack, which we're going to show you on your screen now. You'll end up crimping the bottom card of that stack and then placing the rest of the deck on top. You'll need every card in the deck. All 52 cards are required for the deals to come out right. You'll then take the 4 aces and separate them throughout the deck. It doesn't matter if they go into that stack, because your first move is to go through and remove the 4 aces from the deck. Take the 4 aces out, place them face up onto the table, and then you explain the nature of the shuffle that you're going to use as you run singles 1, 2, 3, 4 to the bottom and throw the deck on top. Then you place 3 aces on top of the deck, 1 ace on the bottom, and then you do exactly as you say you're doing. You're going to run off 11 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Put them on top of the deck. From this point, you run 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, throw on top, then 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 1, and then 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After you finish your overhand shuffles, the crimped card will be just below the halfway point of the deck. Cut at that crimped card, taking the crimped card to the bottom, and you're all set. From this point, deal 5 hands of poker, turning your hand face up. 2, 3, 4, and 5. At this point, just quickly show these hands as being indifferent. Gather them up. Add to that stack the last card that came to this hand and square these up. At this point, the first card on top there will be the ace of spades, followed by the other 3 aces, and then the rest of the deck. From this point on, all you have to do is repeat the deals. This time, dealing yourself face down, the little patter in between, talking about gambling, poker, and all this. At this point, square your hands up and just give a flash of the 4 of diamonds on the bottom. Set your hand down and then start talking about the hands that you've dealt the other players. Talk about the flush that you've dealt, 2 pairs, 4 twos, and the pair of jacks. It's a natural thing to discard 1 card. You give them their flush, discard another card, give them their full house. Now at this point, Vernon either gives them the choice of holding that hand, because if you do draw to that card, you'll ruin your stack if you take the top card. So at this point, what you want to do is take the bottom card. Say you've got to be careful about watching for the bottom deal, and that retains your stack for the big ending. They'll discard 3 here. You'll deal the 3 aces. 1, 2, 3 aces, giving the final player a full house. Turn your hand up, discard the 4, draw yourself an ace, and then show your hand as being the 10, jack, queen, king, ace of spades for a royal flush ending. This is the explanation for Al Baker's poker face. In writing up the explanation for this, Al Baker said, "I know of no other trick that requires so little skill and yet generates as much comment as this one. All you have to do is use a corner short. You create a corner short by taking a pair of fingernail clippers and just clipping a little bit off the card at the index corner, clipping a little bit off the index corner here, and returning that card to the deck. Once you do this, all you have to do is hold the deck by its corner and riffle, and you'll automatically stop at that short corner. So all you have to do is have 2 cards selected. You can have your short corner on top, have them return their 2 cards right on top of that short-cornered card, and then just riffle the edge of the deck. You don't even have to look at the cards. Just look them straight in the eye, and when it hits that short corner, it'll stop automatically. Remove that card. The next card is now in place. All you have to do is riffle the edge of the deck again, look them right in the eye. You'll hit that short corner. Boom. That'll be the second selection, and then you hand them their selected card to conclude Al Baker's poker face. With the Vernon poker routine, there is inherent emotional interest in almost anything related to gambling and card magic. But beyond that, Vernon has created an interesting an entertaining storyline that will fascinate anyone, whether they personally gamble or not. And the real secret to Poker Face is that the spectators are more than just eyewitnesses to something you do. Rather, they themselves become part of the very essence of the demonstration because of their personal involvement, whether it's through the animation of their eyes or the twitching of their faces. As a result, they create the magical atmosphere that gives an effect like this more oomph. In spite of the name, this effect's real secret is the expressive faces that the audience members themselves portray. Now, we're going to see what some consider to be the finest self-working card effect ever. And after that, we'll share with you an effect from the repertoire of many top professionals from the 1800s. But don't worry about the age of the effect, because that's the best part. It's so old, it might as well be brand new. Well, thanks. This time I want to try something a little different. You know, I've had a lot of people picking cards and finding that sort of thing. I want to do something different. I'd like you to pull off, just cut off a small packet of cards, 10, 15, 20, any number at all. Okay? Now, I'm going to turn around. You can make sure that I don't want, but what I want you to do is count quietly so that I don't know the number, okay? Count how many cards you've cut off, okay? And you can watch to make sure that I don't watch her, okay? Now, there's no way I could have known how many cards she was going to cut off. No way that I can know the number of cards that she's counting now, unless, of course, I watch this tape later. And that's not going to do me much good. It'll be over, okay? Do you have that done? Okay? Now, I'm going to count off. I'm going to make a row of cards just like this. And we're going to use these cards in a second. Let's see how I'm doing here. There's 3, 5, 10. There's 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. I'm guessing that that's more than you've cut off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to count like this, and I'd like you to remember the card that falls at the number that you've cut off. Now, that's a pretty random way to come about a card. Okay. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You got a card?
Got my card.
Keep that card in mind. I'm going to gather these cards up, and I'm going to have the cards themselves tell me the card that you just identified and remembered. You got it in your mind? Mm-hmm. Okay, and you can even overhear what I'm doing here. See those little... that's what I'm doing. Oh, let me think. It was the ace. It was an ace, wasn't it? Ace, ace of. Did you get that? The of. Ace of. Ace of clubs. Ace of clubs. Was that your card? My card. Hey, I'll tell you what.
Right.
Now, you may think that maybe that's a sleight of hand kind of thing. You know, it's not. It's not a sleight of hand thing. See, I knew that you were going to get the ace of clubs.
You did?
Oh, yeah, I knew it. Yeah, look, check it. Look, down here in the center of the deck. Down here in the center of the deck, there's one card that's red. And it just happens to be the ace of clubs. Now, I didn't just know before the trick started that you were going to pick the ace of clubs. I knew yesterday. Yesterday, even before now yesterday, that you were going to pick the ace of clubs, and that's when I wrote, what am I talking about? I wrote inside of there the ace of clubs to prove that I would know that you were going to cut to the ace of clubs. Now, I can figure that. As a magician, I can say, okay, yeah, I can see how that can all happen. But here's what I don't understand. There's no way I could have determined the number of cards she was going to cut off. No way I could have influenced that. You cut the cards anywhere you wanted. But this is what I don't understand. How the one card that she cut to turned out to be the ace of clubs. That's what I can't figure out. And don't tell me how you did it. Don't ever tell me. That was a good thing. That was a good thing. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know. Let's see. Let's try something here. Would you pull a card out for me? Okay. And I'd like you to show it around. You got it? Now, would you like to change your mind about that card? No, you're happy with the mind you have? Yes, it's a joke. Okay. I'm going to mix the cards inside the deck just like this, and I'm going to put the cards inside of the card box. Now, that's all pretty fair so far, isn't it? Okay. I'm going to close the cards inside of the card box, and I'm going to take out my pocket square. Now, okay, no doves inside of there, no rabbits, no funny stuff. Make sure that's just exactly what it seems to be. Regular old run-of-the-mill pocket square kind of a thing. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the deck and I'm going to wrap the deck up with that pocket square, okay, so that there's no way that I can manipulate the cards. So I'll wrap it here, wrap it there, I'll wrap it around here. This is going to be a hands-off card trick. See, once I wrap it inside the handkerchief just like this, all I have to do is give it a tug. And now the card, amongst all those cards inside of the box, has identified itself as being the card that you had selected. And if I go like this, it's now identifying itself. It's isolating itself. It's in fact passing straight through the cards, straight through the card box. Hold on to that if you would. Let's see. Was that the card that you had selected? The King of Clubs? Now make sure that there's no way that it could possibly have gotten out of there. As you can see, just like that, one card only inside, and that was, in fact, the only King of Clubs that we had. But you know, sometimes people think, I want to be absolutely certain this time. Sign your name across the face of that King of Clubs for me. That way, every time you see that King of Clubs, there'll be no question. That's the King of Clubs that we're talking about, right? Okay, and let's put this back on top there. And I'll cut your card down inside the deck. Now, you've got one card identified and their name signed across the face of it, right? Now, there's little chance that the card that she just signed would have come back to the top of the deck, but let's make absolutely sure. It wasn't the Ace of Spades, was it? Your card wasn't the Ace of Spades? Well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the Ace of Spades and I'm going to place it right inside of the card, of the handkerchief, so that it's isolated from the edges. There's no possibility that I could get down inside of there to cheat. And I'm going to gather it up just like this. Now, here's what happens. All I have to do is pull once, twice, and 3 times. I pull the Ace of Spades right through the handkerchief. But do you hear? There's something inside. Hold out your hand for me. Hold out your hand for me. Let's make absolutely certain. Now, there's one card inside. You'd signed the King of Clubs? I got it. Oh, my God. This is the explanation of overkill, created by Paul Harris, Alan Ackerman, and Emberg. You begin by writing, you will select the Ace of Clubs on the flap of the card box. You put the Ace of Clubs on top of the deck, and the 21st card down from the top is the red-backed Ace of Clubs. You set the deck to you set the card box to one side and have the spectator cut off a small packet of cards. And then they reverse count those cards, which will put the Ace of Clubs on the bottom of their pack. In this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And they'll keep that packet over to one side. At this point, dealing from left to right, you'll lay out 20 cards. As you do so, you have to tilt the pack towards you to some extent so that they don't see that red-backed card being dealt down. So you deal out 20 cards. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. You count from the right to the left, asking them to remember the card that falls at the number that they cut off. So counting from right to left, they'll end up remembering the Ace of Clubs. It's the 21 card force, 21 down force. You square that packet up, put those on top, and from that point on, all you have to do is milk the effect. You predict the Ace of Clubs. Then you show one card, red-backed in the center, the Ace of Clubs. Then you reveal your prediction, and finally, you have them look at the card, which apparently they cut to. At this point, they've forgotten that they have reverse counted, and then you show that they seem to have cut right at the card that you predicted. That's the explanation of overkill. This is the explanation of card through handkerchief. There's been many versions printed, both with the card box and without. The original printing of the card through handkerchief was published in the New Era Card Tricks back in the 1800s. All you have to do is control the card to the top of the deck, and as you close the flap, just make sure that the flap goes between the top card and the rest of the deck, right there. And you hold that in your left hand. As you take your handkerchief, the left thumb works the card out, but you do that under cover of the handkerchief, and I'll show you what happens. As soon as the handkerchief covers the hand like this, what's going to happen is the right hand goes underneath the handkerchief and the left hand just drops the card box, leaving the card inside of the left hand underneath the handkerchief. Here's what that would look like. You cover that like this and just bring out the card box, and you'll have the selected card in your left hand. You center the card underneath the handkerchief and place the card box right on top of it. The fold is very important. So you bring this diagonal corner directly toward you. And at this point, you have to make certain that the edges of this card are trapped by the wrapping around of the handkerchief. Make sure that in wrapping this one around, you don't unwrap this one, because you want both corners supported. You're going to end up with this situation. Holding the handkerchief here, this allows you to let go of the deck, and yet the card is trapped in that fold right at the back. So holding the deck like this, shake the card will start to slowly appear. As you can see, it's still held by the fold right at the back. Continue to shake, allow it to snake its way out from the folds of the handkerchief. When it gets about halfway out, you can reach up, get ready to catch it in case it should come loose, then help it out as it continues. I like to have someone hold on to this, and in doing so, what they'll do is you'll end up handing it to someone, and letting go, you've destroyed any evidence that they may be able to use to reconstruct as to how that card was held in there, and then you dramatically turn the card over to reveal that the selection has penetrated not only the card box, but straight through the handkerchief as well. That's the card through the handkerchief. This is the explanation for Cy Enfield's Card Penetration and Change, originally published in Entertaining Card Magic. When we called and asked Cy Enfield for permission to include this in this series, he reminded us that we should point out that Bob Hummer created the switch into the handkerchief, which is used in the routine. It makes a perfect follow-up for the card through the handkerchief. As they're holding their card, and I have them sign their name on it, I just take the deck and I cut the ace of spades to the top. And I have them return their card, apparently in the center of the deck, but it's going to go on top of the ace of spades, and I just double cut it back to the top. Now I'm going to turn over the top card. It'll be a double lift to show the ace of spades. And I jog it over to the side. This is the Hummer change. As you put your right hand underneath the handkerchief, and you're going to turn your hand down, apparently putting the ace of spades there, but the left thumb is going to pull this back, actually leaving the selected card as the right hand covers that card with the handkerchief. You place the card directly on top of the deck as you emphasize how the edges of the handkerchief are completely removed from the center. As you then gather them together, bundle them up, and now you're going to act as if you're pulling straight through the handkerchief the ace of spades. Pause for a moment, set the deck down, and then let them realize there's something in the handkerchief. Have someone hold out their hand, place the handkerchief onto the hand, and very slowly uncover the card, and then dramatically turn it over to reveal that the selected card has changed places with the ace of spades, and that's Cy Infield's card penetration and transpo. The real secret to the success of overkill is expressed in the name of the effect itself, overkill. The multiple revelations literally assault the spectator, overpowering their mind as each new disclosure compounds the impossibility of what takes place. With the card through the handkerchief, once again, it's the clever combination of concepts that produce a single, powerful result. The stealing out of the card from the box is very deceptive, and when you combine that with the clever help of the particular fold of the handkerchief to hang onto the card, you are able to bring a beautiful, hands-off quality to the final appearance of the selection. With the card through handkerchief transposition, while this particular effect has more of a hands-on quality, the two routines combine into a very strong set, because the basic effect, which is solid through solid, is rarely seen in card magic. This distinction from the more common effect of simply saying, "That's your card," makes both of these routines ideal additions to any repertoire. In our concluding performance set, I'm happy to say that we'll be addressing two of the most popular plots in the entire realm of card magic. I hope you'll enjoy them.
All right.
Every now and then when I'm doing tricks, somebody tries to mess me up. You know, they'll say, well, that's not my card, or that's my card, and to see if I can, just how I would recover. It's gotten to the point where I can tell whether or not somebody's telling the truth when they say, that's it. I'll give you an example. Pull out any card, and I'd like you to show it to everyone else. I won't look. Got it?
Yeah.
And return it back to the deck. It's as good place as any. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you several cards. Every time you see a card, you say, that's it.
Okay.
Okay? And I'll tell you when you're telling the truth.
Okay.
Okay? Even if it's not your card, you say, that's it.
Okay.
Okay?
That's it.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All things considered, I almost believed that.
That's it.
No, I said, not quite.
That's it.
No, I'm not so sure. But you know what?
Right.
I'm getting an instinct. I got a feeling that this is going to be the one.
That's it.
Is that it? Say it again. Say it again.
That's it.
I believe her. That's it. What was the name of your card?
3 of diamonds.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Works every time. Works every time. You gotta trust me. I'm a professional. You gotta trust me.
Do it again.
You know, sometimes it's not down here. You see, sometimes people see things that they got to think. No, wait a minute. How do I know? Let's do it. Let's do it a little bit differently. This time, pull out any card you want, any one at all. You can look at the faces, think about it. You know what? Just to be sure, pick one that's got some room to write your name on it. That way, you'll know every time you see the card, you'll know whether or not that's the one we started with. Pull one out. There you go. Write your name right across the face of it. Okay? And why don't you put today's date on it? It's, you know, the 10th, and it's 1994. That's a pretty long trick. There you go. Now, every time you see that card, there's not going to be any question in your mind. That's the card we started with. Now, the reason I go to all this trouble to make certain is because this trick could pretty easily be explained if you thought, if you even suspected that I had more than one of these. Like I took an ace of diamonds from another deck, it'd be easy to explain this trick. It's real simple. But when you know there's only one, oh, it's a pretty neat thing. Okay? Now, okay, here goes the ace of diamonds. I'm going to place it down into the middle of the deck. Okay? Now, it's not on top because I haven't done the move. But when I do the move, just like this, the one card that you signed jumps right back to the top of the deck. Now, see how easy that would be to explain if you thought I had two of them? But when you know I've only got one, it becomes a pretty neat thing. Huh? Now, I'll show it to you again, because a lot of people, they don't know what to look for the first time. They don't know what's going to happen, right? But now you know.
Now we know.
Now you know what to look for. I'll take the ace of diamonds, place it into the middle of the deck. I riffle with my thumb. That's doing the move. Just like this. And the card comes straight back to the top of the deck with your name across the face. Now, I don't feel like I was moving too fast for people to follow or anything. But every now and then somebody says, hey, man, you're moving too fast.
I need glasses.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move as slow as I possibly can so that there's no question that the card we're dealing with is the one with your name on it, and I'm going to put it down into the center. I'll put it into the center again. Now, that's pretty fair. It's not on top, see, because I haven't done the trick. When I do the trick, it looks just like this. I just riffle with my thumb, and your signed card comes straight back to the top.
No way!
Yes way! Now, the problem is, you look at the backs of the cards, all the backs look the same. You never know the moment, the actual instant that it arrives on top of the deck. So I figured the best way to let you know without question is to mark the card in such a way that there's no question. Even from the back, you'll be able to identify which card that is because it's got that big hump right in the middle of it. Now, here's how it works. I put it straight into the center of the deck, just like this. I riffle like this, and I snap. And you actually see the card appear on top of the deck, and it's got your name signed across the face of it. And I can't even figure that one out.
All right.
This is the explanation of the late Eddie Fechter's That's It. Jerry Mincer, who wrote the book on the magic of Eddie Fechter, has given us permission to include That's It on this video series. To perform That's It, you have a card selected. As it's returned to the deck, and let's say the selected card was the ace of spades, as it's returned to the deck, you add one card on top of it and then get a little finger break over that. So actually you have a break one card above the selected card. As the right hand comes above, what you're going to do is pick up at that break. But as you do so, you're going to drop two cards so that the right thumb now has a break above two indifferent cards. You turn over the card that you've added on top of the selected card, have them say, that's it. You turn the card down using the right-hand pack. Now you turn the selected card over using the right-hand pack, and then turning it down, you use J.K. Hartman's add-on as you add on those two cards. Now you thumb off what seems to be the selection. And turn over the next card. They'll say, that's it. Set that onto the table. Bring the left-hand packet to the top. Now the selection's on top, so you get a break below 2 cards and do a double lift. Have them say, that's it. You're going to turn over the double, dropping off the bottom card, and I'll expose it as we do here. As you turn it over, you say, you know, I believe you. That's it. They'll say, no. Say, what was your card? I'll say, the ace of spades. You turn it over as you say, that's it. And when Eddie Fechter would perform this, he would always conclude by saying, oh, and by the way, the name of this trick? That's it. This is the explanation for the ambitious card routine. In my particular routine, while the spectator is signing the card, I just reverse the top 2 cards of the deck. I don't do it in any fancy way. There's plenty of misdirection. As they're signing, I just turn over 2 cards. And I just turn the deck towards myself to conceal that from the audience. I pick up the signed card and I put it right on top of those 2 face-up cards. So now, in essence, I'm 3 cards ahead. I do a triple lift. It's easy to turn over a triple. Place the top card into the center of the deck. As I'm pushing it flush, I get ready in advance for the double lift to come by getting a break under 2 cards. Then I push the card flush. Then I do the riffle so that I'm easily able to go into a double lift to show the card back on top. I use the Die Vernon double lift by keeping a break. You create the illusion that the top card is being pushed over by the thumb. Actually, the 2 cards are pinched between the thumb and the middle finger as they're pushed over together, and then the right hand pulls it and flips it over. Place that card into the center of the deck, do the riffle, turn over the single card in the same way that you turned over the double and the triple to show the cards back on top. Now we'll do the move that's credited to Ed Marlowe. As you buckle to get a break above the bottom 2 cards, the right thumb picks up that break. As you kick the top half into the left hand, turn over the ace of clubs, push it forward. As you push it forward, you drop off the 2 cards from the bottom as the left hand turns palm up to show the selected card. Push it flush as the left hand turns back and pushes over the top card inside the right hand's packet. Put the right hand's packet inside the left hand's packet. Show that the card isn't on top, which allows you to get that break, setting you up for the double lift. Riffle. Do the double lift to show the cards back on top. This sets you up for the pop-up move where the bent card comes back to the top. This particular move was published in Expert Card Technique with no credits, but you have a double card. You put a severe crimp in it, like this. Place the double card on top. Now, what you're going to do is thumb this onto the top of the left hand's packet, and as you do so, the right index finger makes sure that the selected card doesn't reveal itself, and you show the bent card going into the center. Place the packet on top. The thumb and the middle finger holds the crimped card flush on top of the deck like this, so that when you snap your fingers, boom, it visibly pops back up onto the top. You turn it over to show that it is the selected card. And here's an idea by Larry Jennings. You put that bent card face up onto the top, and you riffle like this. That removes the crimp from the other card that's in the deck while reinforcing the crimp in the selected card, and that's the perfect ending for any ambitious card routine. I hope you'll use it. Eddie Fechter used "that's it" as his answer to the classic magician in trouble syndrome. But there's the potential danger of appearing too cocky once it's over, because it's a real gotcha at the end. I think it's better to end gracefully by letting the fish put the hook into their own mouth without you going overboard to stuff it down their throat. With the ambitious card, this is one routine which, more than any of the others, relies on good, sound technique for each of the individual moves. It will require more commitment on your part than many of the other effects in this series, but if you'll give it the time it deserves, you'll have mastered one of the true classical effects in all of card magic. Our goal all through this series has been to give you the maximum value for your investment. For that reason, we are giving every owner of this tape the props necessary for actual performance of the following bonus effect. After you see the routine itself, I hope you'll agree with us when we say that this is one of the most powerful and magical effects that you can do with a pack of cards. This is my opportunity to show you my favorite trick with a deck of cards. My favorite trick with a deck of cards. The one I've been waiting for. Let me take out the 4 aces. And we're going to need some indifferent cards to go on top of each of the aces. Okay? We'll just take 3 and put them on top of each of the aces, just like this. Okay? That's pretty fair so far. Now, the ace of spades is typically the leader ace. Can I ask a favor of you here? Cover that in such a way that there's no way that I can get at it. I mean, you trust him, don't you?
Sure. Yeah.
Looks like the jury's still out, but I trust you. I trust you.
Oh, come on, you guys.
And I'm going to give you the deck so that there's no confusion there. We'll only use the cards that are on the table now. Take these 3 cards. The first to go is going to be the ace of diamonds. Okay, the ace of diamonds, not these, just the ace. All I have to do is snap, and the ace disappears. The first ace completely disappears. Now you know what to look for. Now you'll know what to look for as I do it again. You take the ace, and all I'll do is just kind of rub it like this, and the next ace disappears.
Oh, no.
It's 2 aces gone. The next ace to go is going to be the ace of clubs, so now you'll know what to look for. And in fact, I'll do it real slow so there's no question as I go through it what's going to happen. So you'll see the ace, and now you don't.
Wow.
See, it's changed completely. Just like that. That's 1, 2, 3. The final ace is gone. You've had your hands on top of that pile. There's no way I could have done
There's no
anything
way.
funny. Not a chance.
I got it.
What the heck? Let's take a
I don't
look.
think I will let him go.
Just for the heck of it. Open up.
All right.
Let's see. There's 3 cards in there. There's the ace of spades, and by golly, there's the ace of clubs, the ace of diamonds, and the ace of hearts. That's amazing. That's amazing. This is the explanation for your bonus effect, McDonald's aces. We used the aces for this particular routine, but with your videotape, you may have gotten the jacks or the sevens, whatever you have, of course, you just rationalize it by saying, have you ever heard of the famous flying tens or something like that? Each set of double-faced cards, of course, has indifferent cards on the back. The first thing you'll want to do is remove those duplicate cards from the deck that you're using so that you don't end up with running into those particular cards. You set the duplicates that are going to vanish in the position from the top of the deck. You have 1 set of 3s, 2 set of 3, 3 sets of 3s, and then the 3 aces that you're going to end up placing on top of your leader packet. Distribute these through the bottom half of the deck, and the leader ace you just run into before you get to your stacked aces there. Take out the pack, thumb through, remove the first 3 cards. In this case, the aces. You come to the ace of spades. You place that to the far right, turn the packet down, and then start putting the indifferent cards. You can flash the first 3 sets, of course. Just be casual like this, and then ultimately you get to the 3 cards that are going on top of the leader packet. Of course, don't flash those, just set those there. Some of you may want to give the spectators the chance to select the ace that they put their hands on and just use equivocate to make sure that they end up covering the ace of spades. But if you don't want to deal with that, just have somebody place their hand on top of the leader packet. Then you take the first pack, turn it face up, place the first ace on top of it. You're going to do a double lift. So in picking up the ace, I just get a break under 1 card, put the ace on top of it, do a double lift, flash. Now you're going to be setting down. You've now exchanged this indifferent card for the double card. Toss it to the table, show, and the first ace seems to disappear. It's the vanish of the first ace. The second ace works pretty much the same way. As you turn the packet face up, get a break underneath the top card, put the ace on top, do a double lift. Now you just fan the cards out. This is going to be, of course, the double facer now that's now indifferent card side up. Use these 3 cards to kind of rub that ace. What seems to be the ace then has changed. That's the vanish of the second card. For the third vanish, you pick up the ace, get a break under one of the cards. So now you're holding a double card. The ace here and an indifferent card. You turn these 2 cards over, place this out jogged is one way that you can do this. And you can actually turn this over to show the ace with the back. Push it flush. Now you do an Elmsley count. On the first Elmsley, they see the ace of diamonds. That puts the ace of diamonds in the position to be hidden by the next Elmsley count. So now when you do the next Elmsley, it seems the card has changed. You can turn the card over, show that that ace has vanished, and then just turn these down and show the last ace has disappeared. Then have the spectator lift his hands off the cards, and the impossible has happened as they've traveled invisibly underneath the spectator's hands. It's a wonderful routine. It's as strong as card magic gets. I sure hope you'll give it a try. thank you for being with us. And thanks again to the many creative minds who have so generously contributed their material for this project. In doing so, they have helped spread immeasurable joy, not only to us, who will always gain pleasure in performing this great material, but to all the new audiences who will now be able to experience a refreshingly powerful world of card magic, a world previously shared by precious few. I like to see this sort of contribution as the lighting of a candle that will, hopefully, burn brightly long after we're gone. Cabot Roberts has said, "To light such candles is almost a gamble with eternity, because who knows how many successive candles will be lit, or when, if ever, the flames will cease or the influence die." I hope you'll rewind this tape and grab yourself a deck and then go out into that wide world and start having fun.